Hello, shalom, guys, and welcome again to What Up with Gloria. I hope everybody's well, and I hope all of you are keeping safe. Yeah, welcome back to this space. It's nice to be back here again with you. Yeah, and to all the new subscribers and all the new guys, I welcome you warmly, warmly. You're very welcome. It's nice to have you here. And if you've been watching me and you have not subscribed, please feel free to subscribe. I am here to share with you something that somebody sent to me because I feel like this could help somebody. Yeah, there's a lady that contacted me and I have her permission to share what I'm going to share here with you. Yeah, so this lady contacted me and she told me this story. She told me that she's a single mom. She's a young single mother of a son. She has a young boy, but she's also a born-again Christian and she attends church. She has her home church. She sings in the choir. Okay? So it happened that her son got sick and she went to hospital and she was admitted. She was in hospital for 2 weeks. Her daughter, the son was being treated for a sickness. I am not going to go into a lot of those details because I don't know. I don't want people to know who she is. Yeah, she gave me permission to share this, but she asked me to keep some details back. So she went to hospital. Her son was there for 2 weeks. I think they had some kind of procedure done by the doctor. And she said to me that even though she's very active in her church, she sings in the choir, she serves in her church, she says that her pastor did not come to see her, the pastor's wife did not come to see her. I did ask her after she told me that they didn't come to see her. I asked her how big her church was because I know that if you're a member maybe of a mega church, maybe the pastor may not know everybody and may not know that they have a member who's sick in hospital. And she told me that the church is maybe around 350 members. And so the pastor knows her very well. She's in the choir, the pastor's wife. But she says there's 2 sisters who came to visit her, but they did not come on behalf of the church. They just came as them on their own behalf. They came to see her. Okay? Now, the lady says that she did inform the church of her situation. She did tell somebody to tell the church that she was in hospital with her son and that they needed prayers. Now, after she came out of hospital 2 weeks later, she stayed for a bit. I think another 2 weeks. That's a whole month. Then she went back to church. When she got to church, she went and she gave her testimony of how she went to hospital and her son had a medical procedure done. And, she testified of God's goodness, that the son was now doing much better. And she was giving God thanks. And yeah, everything passed on very well. Then she says that after the church, the pastor called her and the pastor inquired, okay, the pastor said, oh, I am grateful that your son is healed. I want you to know that we were praying for you. We prayed for you and we thank God because we know our prayers are answered. Then the pastor asked her, I saw you giving your testimony, but I noticed you did not give a thanksgiving offering. I think there's a procedure in that church to give. If you come from hospital or you've had something going on in your life and you want to give a testimony of a breakthrough you had, there's an envelope that you have to bring as a thanksgiving offering. So she didn't give that. So when the pastor called to check on her, he mentioned that I didn't see your envelope. Did you bring an envelope? So she didn't. She thought the business was passed. Next Sunday, she went to church. She told me after church, the pastor called her. And the pastor basically told her that, you haven't paid your tithe. He started telling her, it's important to pay your tithe. Sometimes even if you've been sick or away or in hospital, you still have to carry on paying your tithe. We haven't seen your tithe card is empty for the whole month. We haven't seen your tithe. And this lady told the pastor, I was in hospital and I'm a single mom and I spent my money on hospital buying medication for my son. I didn't have money for tithe. So the pastor was like, no, but you have to pay your tithe. We've taught you people how to pay your tithe. If you don't pay your tithe, that's how sickness comes, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, it's a long story and we went back and forth. But the short of it and the long of it is that this lady is feeling very bad because, number one, this pastor never bothered to come and see her in hospital. The pastor never even called her in the 2 weeks she was in hospital. But after she came out, the pastor told her that they had been praying for her. Now, she after some times of the pastor bothering her about the tithe, she didn't pay the tithe. The pastor mentioned it twice, and on the third time, the pastor sent her, believe it or not, I could not believe it, but it's true because she sent me a screenshot. The pastor sent her a paper that looked like an invoice, just showing the 4 weeks that she had missed on her tithe. Like blank, like tithe is blank. So basically, she was like, I feel like my pastor is sending me a bill for tithes, and he shouldn't do that because I was in hospital. I have always paid my tithe, but at this time I couldn't pay my tithe because all my money was spent. She even borrowed money to buy medication for her son because her son was on some special medication. She borrowed money to be able to pay to offset some of the medical and medication bill. And so she feels like she told me, I've stopped going to church because, number one, my pastor never followed up on me. The church never helped me. The church never asked me if I needed any kind of help. There's 2 sisters who came to see her. They came to see her. Of course, they brought her fruits and stuff like that. And yeah, but she was like, pastor bothered me so much about tithe that I decided I'm not going back to the church. So she was asking me. So she told me that some people are telling her she's wrong to leave church because of that. So she was asking me, what was I supposed to do? And is it the pastor's place to bother me about the tithe, even to the point of sending me like what looks like an invoice? It's not like an invoice, but it's like a sheet of paper explaining how much tithe she had missed on and quoting scriptures of why it's important for her to pay her tithe. Now, for me, number one, let's look at the job of the pastor. Let's forget about whether you should or she should pay tithe or whether she should have paid tithe. That's not the issue here. For me, her tithe is not an issue for me. Tithe is a question between you. If you are somebody who believes in paying tithe, that's between you and God. Offerings are between you and God. Thanksgiving is between you and God. So where does the pastor come in all of this? Number one, the pastor's job is to be a shepherd to the flock. That's number one. So this pastor is, as a shepherd, should have followed up on this sister, especially when she went to church. He should have either come in or called her to pray with her. But really, he should have visited her because her church is not big. And she was 2 weeks is a long time in hospital. I think at some point he should have visited. My pastor always came. Even when I had my children, my pastor and his wife would always come to see me in hospital. Okay? He would always leave what he was doing. If any member went to hospital, the pastor would always come, visit you, and pray with you. Even when you went back home, my pastor would always come and visit. So for me, I had a pastor who truly was a shepherd. So the job of a pastor is to shepherd the flock. The Bible says that when a good shepherd will leave the 99, when one is lost or has gone astray, or something has gone wrong with one, a good shepherd will leave the 99 to pursue and follow up on the one. So the minute this sister's son got sick and she went to the hospital, this pastor should have been able to find a day to leave even the rest of the flock and go and visit this lady. Or even his wife could have gone on his behalf. And if they were not able to go, they should have sent a special representative from church. Now, remember, the 2 sisters who went to see her did not come on behalf of the church. They just came to see her as friends. So that's number one. Okay? The next job of the pastor is to provide care and guidance to the believer. The pastor's job, yes, it's the pastor's job to teach people the Bible, to teach them how to give to God, how to give offerings, how to give thanksgiving, teaching people how to be thankful and how to always give to God. I believe in giving, but giving should not be forced, and giving should not, it's not the pastor's job to police how people are paying their tithes and offerings. That's not the pastor's job. It's the pastor's job to teach people how to give and to teach them what the word says. But he should not be policing people. He should not be seeing, oh, who missed out on their tithe. And even if he notices that somebody has missed out on their tithe, it's not his job to remind them. Every person, the Bible says, let every man give as their heart convinces them to give. Let every man gives as his heart purposes to give. Okay? Now, like I said, there's an issue here of tithe. There are people who believe in paying tithes. Others don't believe in paying tithes. Whichever side of the divide we're on, I think we can agree that it's not the pastor's job to police people or to force people or twist their hands into paying tithes. Even if it was his job, he should be able to understand that this sister had a sick child for 2 weeks. She's a single mom. She didn't have somebody to help her pay her bills. The last thing they should have done is to say, oh, do you have any outstanding bills that we can help you pay? At least that's what I would do. If a member of my church was a single parent and they went to hospital and I noticed they were struggling financially to the point where they're not even giving as they should, I think the church should have said, are you okay? Is there any help? Can we help you? What can we do for you at this difficult time? You know, maybe send meals around to her house. Send people to help her out when she's caring for her son. Right. Like I was saying, it's not the pastor's job. The pastor is not the tithe collector. The pastor is not the tax collector in the church. That's not the job of the pastor. It's not in his job description to send people, to invoice people like you're sending them a bill for healing. Okay, you prayed for her, but she also prayed for herself and other people prayed. So you cannot take... This sister felt like the pastor was trying to take credit for the healing of her son, saying, oh, we prayed for you. We were praying for you and we prayed for you and we see God has done it. And because of that, you should pay tithe or give a thanksgiving offering. No pastor should tell people how much money to give. I believe that the only time that money should be followed up or chased in a church is if somebody pledged. Like, for example, if there's a church building fund, or they were raising funds for something and somebody pledged, then the pledge should be followed up. If you pledge to give money to the church, then that is a vow that should be paid. I believe that the pledge should be followed up. The pastor can send somebody a letter reminding them of a pledge or even call them, but he should never follow up on tithe and offering, because then he's putting himself in a situation where he should not be putting himself. He's become a tax collector and a tithe collector in the church, and it makes it looks like it's all about the money for him. The only person who will decide if somebody is right or wrong in the way they gave money, offerings or tithes or love gifts or love offerings, that person is God. Only God can decide. So the job of the pastor is to pastor the church, to give guidance, to be a shepherd over the flock, to take care of the flock, to give counseling where it's needed, to encourage the people, to exhort them, to correct them when they are wrong. I believe in correction and rebuke. The pastor can rebuke a person when they have done wrong. But in this instance, when it comes to money and offerings, that's not his jurisdiction. That's nothing to do with him. Sending somebody an invoice for me is a law. I don't know what you people think, okay? I know that sister is following and she said she will be following. So if you have any advice, please write it down. Let me know what your thoughts are. I have given you my thoughts and that's exactly what I say to this sister. Yeah, so let me know what your thoughts are. Okay, yeah, so guys, let me know what you think. If you have anything you would like me to share or any questions you'd like to ask me, please let me. And by the way, I know that people are asking me to do a follow-up video on the praying with salt video. A lot of people are asking me to do a follow-up and I'm going to be doing that very soon. So that's coming up soon. Yeah, so until next time, guys, don't forget to subscribe, to like the video, leave me a comment. If you can share this video, please do. It will help us greatly. And until next time, guys, God bless you. It is well.